you've been gigging around like South America, I think lately. How's it like, especially during a strange time like this, where we're sort of out of the pandemic, but then not really?
Yeah, I mean, in this continent, especially Mexico, it's very loose, you know, the whole situation. They don't seem to not really care, you know. I mean, I think it's one of the worst pandemic centers, though. I do think so. But these guys don't seem to care. So at some point, I think I was the only artist in the world who was touring, you know. And in this year, I've done like 20 gigs in Mexico. I was in Colombia. I had like 5 gigs there, and then I will have still 5 more. But then I go to Finland for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty soon then. Like that.
yeah,
Finland's
yeah. In 3 weeks, 3 weeks from now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's kind of odd because like I remember like when I actually stumbled upon your Instagram, I was like, oh wow. And then I went to check out some of your like I initially wanted to check out like old videos of your songs and things like that. And then I saw, wow, there's actually many videos of you gigging this year posted on YouTube. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
like
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
you're probably one of the few who's actually doing actively touring during this strange period, you know.
yeah. I think so too. But you know, even here they do restrict the attendances, so they're not like big shows. They're just actually I even play to 100 people here, but it's nice. I want to play. I still enjoy playing very much to the audience.
Yeah,
You
of
know?
course, I'm sure many would crave to be on the stage, you know, like for the past 1.5 years, and many
Yeah,
haven't been
yeah,
able to do that.
exactly. Yeah, it's been
Nice.
weird time.
Yeah, it is
You
actually very, but I'm happy that you're actually able to do what you want to do during
Yeah,
this time.
exactly. Me too. I'm very privileged, you know, in every aspect actually.
Oh, that I'm glad you feel that way as well. So I actually
Yeah,
saw in an interview that you actually what I find interesting is that you play with like the local bands in the
yeah,
areas, and then you do it without rehearsals with them. How does
yeah.
that even work? Like, I mean, how?
Well, they know the songs, I know the songs, you know, and then it's just up to God, basically. So, you know, you never know. And sometimes even I don't even know even what is the set list. So I tell them just, you know, put something there, and then I go on stage and I see the songs and oh, okay, this one. I haven't played that for 20 years. So just to make it a little bit more interesting. And sometimes it's like even too interesting, I guess. So,
Was there a scenario where you forgot how to play a song completely? Because like, I mean, you've written like so many songs.
yeah, 400 or something. I think there was one from episode that there was this learning to fly,
Mhm.
and that's like really fast phrases of guitar and keyboards together. And I never played it. We never played that live. So last time I played that song was at Finbook Studios back in '95.
Oh, wow, that was like almost
Yeah,
20 years ago.
yeah, and that was difficult, I have to say. You know?
Oh man, that then I guess you just had
Yeah,
to like wing through it, like just shred your way through the
yeah. I
thing.
mean, it is really it's somehow in the back of the mind, you know, because those scales are like very similar anyway. So there's not so much difference, you know. And you know the song, so and live is anyway different. So live situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's a bit of room for improvisation and things like that. So it
Sure.
doesn't have to be like perfect anyway. It's a
Mhm.
live show, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. It's
Nice.
the
Well,
interaction between people. That's the most important thing, I think.
yeah, and I can see, and you know, it's kind of amazing because those people who you play with are actually fans of yours. So then you actually have like fans of yours on stage with you, and
Yeah,
also fans of yours, you know, right in front of you. That must feel
exactly.
incredible, no?
Yeah, I mean, these people really like that I play with the local guys because they see that I'm basically a pretty simple and normal guy, you know. And but you know, many of these people put me to the sky, and you know, they project all these things to me, and that's not just the way it is. But I know the name of the game, so nothing I can do about that really.
Nice. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a very privileged position to be in, and it's
Oh
I must
yeah.
give it to, you know, the people who perform with you though, because I mean they don't freak out when they play with you. I mean, I would literally be freaking out. I mean, if I were to share a stage with you,
Well,
but then
they
those
do freak
guys
out.
really hold it
They
together, you know?
they do freak out sometimes.
Do you have to go like calm down, calm down? Calm
Yeah,
down?
I'm like just taking these, breathe, that kind of thing.
Nice.
And we played like last Saturday we played Visions, that song, and I haven't been playing that for like 10 years at least, maybe 15.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool to play. It's such a nice song to play. It's just like
Nice.
one riff leads to another riff. It's like collection of riffs, basically the whole song.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah. I mean, it's so nice. It's so cool that you keep it that interesting, like not knowing the set list sometimes, and of course, you get surprises sometimes, like songs you don't play for like 20 over years, and all of a sudden you have to remember all of that. It must be crazy for you.
I've been doing this for like 30 years now. I mean, I've been playing like 4,000 concerts in 55 countries. So I've been around, crazy. And I really thought, actually, I thought it's almost over about a year ago, but then these gigs started to come, and I'm okay, it's not over.
Nice. Well, how does it come about to happen though? Like, do you like put out an ad saying that you're going to be in that city, and then the local bands get in touch with you, or is there someone where puts you into?
I know many people. I mean, they're like promoters. They do everything. So they book me the flights, hotels, and everything. So then I just go there. And the thing is that I don't like to spend too much time at the venues. I really don't like that. So I'm doing something else, and I arrive like 30 minutes before the show. Like, and I just go and play. But then I do spend time with fans after the show, quite a bit actually sometimes. So signing autographs and taking photos.
Nice. That's always nice, and that's always one of the nicer parts of a gig. Getting to interact with fans.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, I'm happy that you're able to do that during this difficult time for everyone. Yeah. So then we mentioned about you writing like throughout your career. You wrote, I think, literally like hundreds of songs. I think over like 400 songs or something.
Something like.
And then you're also kind of known to be able to write songs quickly. Like how do you do it? I mean, I've heard you write songs in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like how? I mean, I literally spend weeks writing a song, but how do you do it in like 20, 30 minutes? Is there like a method, a theme, or how do you do it?
So this is one of my favorite bands is ABBA. I don't know if you know this. They're so Sweden. It's like this pop group, and they asked this Benny Andersson, who's like the keyboard piano player, that how do you write songs? I don't know. I don't even know the scores. I don't know notes. I can't read music. So I can read music somewhat because I studied theory, but not too much. I think that the best way for me to write songs is to unlock my brain, that I don't use the brain at all. So I go very deeply into me, into my emotions, and then I just happens, man. I mean, I really don't have any method. The only thing I really do have is that I tend to start writing songs from the song title first. So I have a bunch of titles, like 20, and something is sticking out, and then I take that, and then I just write a song. And it's not uncommon that I write a song in 10 minutes, and most of my songs takes about 15 to 20, and then if it takes more than 30, I know it's not going to happen. So I don't push it, and it has to be natural for me. It has to be natural. So I never force it. Sometimes I think that when I try to analyze it, when I really try to think about it has to be like, maybe I'm connected to some song bank of the universe. And then it just, I get, oh gosh, and then, through my system, because I cannot explain how can I write like Black Diamond in 10 minutes.
10 minutes, seriously?
Yeah, that was 10 minutes, and I get complete songs sometimes, even with lyrics, like chorus lyrics and stuff. So I think it has a lot to do with also the culture where you live in, because you gotta have to sort of break free from the society to be able to become an individual. And as you know, being Orient, I mean, sometimes, at least in Japan, it's not like that. It's like, it's not individuals really. It's more like the collective.
Yeah.
You have to obey and you have to behave. Well, I'm from Finland. I'm not like that. So I work really hard for myself. you know, to be able to be where I am today. And today I'm just relatively free guy, you know. And one thing that you really have to have is very good self-confidence to be a good songwriter. You need to have that. Or you have to really know that you are like that. But I suppose there are no rules really. I mean, I know many people who it takes weeks to write songs, and they write beautiful music. So there's really no one fixed way to do things. Whatever works, you know.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So like let's say Black Diamond, for example, you said you wrote it in 10 minutes. So when you said you finished it in 10 minutes, was it just like the main structure and then you guys just slowly, you know, sort of polish bits of the song, or did you literally have like everything, you know, in 10 minutes, including like, you know, the drum ideas and things like that, and also the vocals and things like that?
But then the thing is with that song is that I wrote it with the keyboard.
Oh, wow.
I had harpsichord sound, and that theme just, you know, I can't really play keyboards, but I know the basic chords. I call it 3 fingers because I do 3 fingers, and everyone with the fingers sounds good. So Jörg Michael, the Stratovarius drummer, told me after the episode tour, I told the guys that I'm starting writing new songs for the next album, and he was telling guys like, okay, he probably goes to some cabin in the woods, you know. And then the thing was that after 1.5 days, I texted the guy that the record is done. So the whole Visions album, like 10 songs, I wrote it in 1.5 days.
Oh, wow. How is that even possible?
That can happen if you're really inspired, you know. That really can happen. Because I really, you know, when the time, and now actually I'm writing songs again, but it's like a mess, as you can see.
Oh, wow.
I'm like having this stuff here.
Oh,
and
wow.
I have like 20, 30 song titles. And if it's really inspiring, it just happens, you know. But Black Diamond, it was really, I was like 96. I think it was first time of course the harpsichord bit. And then yeah, that's, I think the chorus next. The chorus was the next. And then I always do, I do what I call drum machine demos. So I have a drum machine, you know, like
okay.
So
You
I
program.
Yeah, I program it like a simple patterns, and I play the bass, and I do like a
Oh, sorry, your mic is off actually. I can't hear you all of the
sorry,
time.
yeah, okay. So,
yeah.
So I sing like a melody too. So I make this very crude original demo, and I give it to the band, and then every time the guys have been like, "What is this?" Because, you know, I produce those records too, so I hear already the final product, so to speak, but they don't. And one of the things that I don't like the musicians to fall in love with the demos, because then they just reproduce that, and I don't want to do that. I want them to give their input, not what I played. So when the demos are crappy, they cannot really do that, you know.
Well, yeah, I guess everyone just works differently, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's for sure.
Nice. Well, but it's kind of amazing that you wrote like that entire record in like in a day and a half. How do you not get emotionally attached to one song? Like, for example, when like I write, or like I believe a lot of musicians write, when they start like a composition, they get really attached to it, and then they want to make sure that it's perfect before they move on to the next one. But how were you able to detach yourself from, you know, the songs? Like, you say, okay, I'm done with this one, I'm going to move on to the next. I'm done with this time, I'm going to move on to the next. How were you able to do that?
Pretty much like that. I mean, to me, it's almost like a sketch. I mean, it goes in stages. You have a sketch, then you make a band demo, like a pre-production demo, and that's when you can change the arrangements really, and that's when you really think about things, you know, you analyze things, and that's when you make it perfect. And then you go to the studio to record, you know. So it's like stages. In our case, always 3. There's a sketch, there's maybe some more developed painting, and then the actual painting.
Okay.
And it's just, you gotta let it go, man. I mean, it's just, you know, you write a song, and then you can always polish it later. You can, you know, I know Def Leppard. I mean, Matt Lang, the guy who produced Hysteria, for example. These guys added drums last.
Oh wow.
They put the drums last before the mix because the producer wanted to change arrangements to the very end. You know, so maybe he said that this is not place for verse, and if there are drums already, what can you do? So
that's very true.
Kind of,
that's very true. Okay, well, that's good to know. I mean, thanks for sharing how you write. It's interesting to know your workflow, you know. So as you write, is your identity as a musician important when you write? For example, some people, they're inclined to follow what's happening, you know, whatever is trendy and things like that. So do you ever consider like, oh, maybe I should try something else that I'm not used to doing? Or do you just let it flow and just let whatever's inside come out and through your fingers?
I think it's more like, I never written any song for my fans, you know, not even one. I have to please myself. I write songs only for myself. And if then somebody really likes that stuff, it's a really cool compliment, of course. But I cannot make music for other people, at least in this form, like this music I'm doing now. I mean, if I would do pop music, it would be totally different, of course. Then I would really see what's trendy and stuff. But I don't care about the trends. I mean, I really have my audience, I have my fans, and when we did like second Stratovarius, the grunge was very popular, you know, and we did gigs and nobody came. There were like 3 people and stuff. So we just moved on, you know. We made next record and then the next, and that's you gotta keep on, you gotta keep moving.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's as a musician, you have to really write for yourself, because if everyone hates it, at least there's one person that likes it, that's yourself, you know. But if you write it for someone else and the fans don't like it, then literally you hate it yourself and they hate it as well.
Exactly. So there's always going to be these people who tell you that, why didn't you do what I like? You know? I mean,
yeah, that's right.
You know, especially metal, they are like, they always want to have the same record, basically. And they don't like experimenting and stuff, you know. But I don't think you should let that worry about yourself too much. I think you really just should do what you are set out to do. Yeah. And you don't listen to the people. It's tough though, because you're a musician and you're sensitive and you do care. You know, so it's difficult, you know. Somebody's telling you stuff, but there is no way out. You just gotta do it.
Yeah, that's true. I think whatever other people say, you just gotta do what you really believe in and just keep grinding, and then eventually it will happen for you.
I think many musicians have this thing that they copy things, you know, and they think, oh, that's successful, I copied that, and then, you know, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I copied it too, but at some point I stepped out, you know, and I went to the other way, and I started to find my own way to write, my own things to say. And you gotta find that style of what you want to do, and really go out from that comfort zone of what's popular and what you were before as a kid. You know, never copying it. Yeah. And so to speak, to go to the next level, really, and always improve, always study, always practice, always write songs, you know. There's no way out, as you know. It's the only way.
Yeah, you just gotta keep grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, nice.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think I absolutely agree with you. And so then I noticed that, you know, since day one that I've been following your music, you've been playing, you know, the 6 strings primarily. So what are your thoughts on, like, you know, 7, 8, 9 string guitars and also other, you know, lower tunings as well? What are your thoughts on those? And do you have the intention to sort of explore those as well? Just to experiment?
I'm boring. I'm very boring in that. I mean, somebody asked me the question about 7 string guitar, and I said, why don't you take 1 string off the 5? You know, it's more challenging. I mean, I play sometimes 7 strings, but I don't know what to do with the low P. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I use like in D minor, I put the low E to D, and then I like an open D minor. It's really cool chord, especially acoustically. But I really don't experiment with any tunings at all. But I love to write songs, but even that is getting more difficult because I've been writing so many, and sometimes I hit a block, you know, and then I just got to spend some time not to write. You know, it's collectively, I'm writing songs subconsciously all the time anyway, you know, and that actually explains why the songs come so fast, because I'm writing all the time anyway.
Yeah, with or without the guitar.
Exactly. Nice. Probably when I sleep. You know.
Yeah, you're probably humming some melody while you're sleeping. You're sleep humming.
It has happened. I listen to a lot of Reiki music. You know, all night I have Reiki music playing. It's like very, very relaxing stuff, and that helps me to go to some kind of a trance. Paul McCartney wrote Yesterday in his sleep.
Oh, I didn't know that. I learned something.
Yeah, he woke up in the morning and had the melody. He said, "This is so good. This has to be a copy." Or it wasn't.
It was a stream.
It was a stream.
Nice. Well, so then, like, you play with the 6-string. Do you find yourself? I mean, especially if you've written like so many songs, do you find yourself in a situation where you think, oh, I've done that before, I can't do that again? And I've, you know, because obviously it's human nature to sort of repeat like muscle memory and things like that, and to do things that we're familiar with. So how do you get out of that? Because you've got only 6 strings, you've got only 24 frets, but you've written like literally 400 over songs. How do you not get stuck?
I think it's not to do with emotions, because to me music is all about emotions. It's not so much about technical things at all, actually. It's how I interpret my emotions through guitar, and how I can make emotionally important content to my song that people can relate to that. And you know, people sometimes they cry in my concert. Here in Mexico, I've seen people 2-3 minutes from me, literally totally crying with tears and everything. And then when I watch the person, I'm like, okay. Because I cannot watch that without an effect to me. It really affects to me. And then I start to think after the show, like, what is that thing? What is in there that makes these people? And that has to be the combination of the lyrics, the melody, and the emotion in that. And it really vibrates, because I believe everything is energy. So we are vibrating. And if you vibrate the same, you're going to reach these people, wherever they are in the whole world, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I meditate, and I think that's very helpful, you know, to get into the inner world of what you really, who you really are, basically. And I call it pretty much like you light up a lamp in you, light, and the light.
That's
then
true.
That's what I think. I really do believe in this.
Nice. Well, I mean, trust me when I say this. I mean, your music has definitely lit up many lamps, you know, including mine as well. So, you know, that's why it's really an honor to be talking to you today. And like, because you're an amazing songwriter, you know, and I have nothing but respect for the work you do. Okay. Well, so then now that we're talking about songwriting, like, how do you, I always ask this question, how do you consider a song complete? Because it's, again, one of those things where you can keep on improving and you can keep on going and going and going and polishing bits here and there. But at what point do you say, okay, it's enough, it's done, it's ready to go out?
Well, because I've been doing this for 30 years, and I make stuff too and produce things. So I know very well how to get what I want in the studio, you know, by using different, you know, whatever is available in that studio. And you gotta step out too, man. I mean, you gotta know when to stop, because there's a theory that says a song will never be complete. You can always do something, you know. Yeah. And of course, then you end up being like, you mix stuff like 5 months and you're like nuts, because, you know, you go around in circles maybe, you know, at some point. And it's just basically when the certain, like, sonically speaking, when it's there, you know, when it sounds good, when it's 3-dimensional, when it's nothing is bothering me, and all the frequencies, you can hear everything. Then it's sonically done. But sometimes happens that then you realize that something in the song doesn't work, and then you have to sort of just let it go, because at that point you cannot change it anymore. All is recorded. So you can re-record guitars and bass very rarely vocals and never drums. So,
Yeah.
but you gotta, I mean, of course, I mean, the more time you put into that, it's gonna sound better. I mean, we used to spend months in the studio, sort of work, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's a never-ending process, and I guess sometimes it's also the time limit that the studio gives us that makes forces us to end the project there and then. You know?
Yes,
it's not really
exactly.
up to the
but now,
musician.
of course, you have home studios now. You have all this technology available. I mean, I have this universal audio thing. That's like basically this all you need. That the laptop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So you know, it's but I really love to mix on big analog consoles because I don't think you can really duplicate that sound. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially the low end and the three-dimensional, because that three-dimensional sound picture is something that you really can learn. You sort of have to. It's trial and error. Yes, exactly. So you are sort of placing the instruments in the three-dimensional space in your mind, and it goes, of course, towards the wall.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of hard to explain, but I see it in my mind's eye, and I feel it too. That where everything has a place in the sonic picture.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. That actually leads us to like the next question I had for you. Like, actually, more and more musicians are actually shifting away from physical amps into like virtual instruments, virtual plugins, and virtual amps. And so, like you said, I think I don't think it can ever replicate a physical amp. It can sound similar, but you'll never really feel the same because you actually feel the difference. You don't feel the vibration and all the reverb that a physical amp gives you. But how do you see this advance in technology affect the music industry?
Well, I think it makes it easier, right? But that doesn't mean that it's helpful. Because there's so much, dare I say, well, I don't know how to put it really, but the technology is available to do whatever you want, and that you can really hear. I mean, we always use nice high-gain amp in the studio, and I could never use a plug-in guitars. So, we are, I mean, it was so easy to do all those records. I mean, I use mostly like Mesa rectifier, dual rectifier head, just one SM57 in the middle of the cone, one track, no EQ, and that's it. Duplicates, that's it. Sometimes triplicate. And I always play the guitars in the control room. It's pretty loud, so you can really feel the chant.
Yeah.
And that is something, you can just feel it through the plugin that is not there.
Yeah. It's flat. Like with plugins, it may sound great, but it feels flat. I do get what you mean.
Well, these guys are like, they are reproducing it by like waveforms. They you know how they do it. I mean, they think that's the same, but it's not the same.
That's true.
They see a waveform of the Mesa Boog and they duplicate it back in the plugin, but it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah, yeah. I do get what you mean. I think somehow it will sort of lack that sparkle that physical amps can actually give you.
I think it lacks life.
Yeah, actually that's a very good way of putting it.
It lacks life.
Okay, well, so you mentioned something about double tracking and triple track. So when do you double track and when do you triple track? And do you also double track your leads, or are they just single tracks?
I double track my rhythm guitars, always, every time. And on some records we did 3, but then that's like in the mix, it's left and right, and then it's in the middle. Third. But it's kind of lower because that's where the territory of the vocals.
Yep.
And you don't want to compete with the vocals. You have to kind of find the offending frequency and then notch it out.
Yeah.
But that makes it more powerful and more thick. But it doesn't work in fast songs, so it's like mid-tempo, slow songs. And for the solos, I don't really double track them because they are improvised mostly. That's kind of difficult.
So every take's different. So every take's different.
I would say. I mean, the way I do it is I put in the Pro Tools, I put like from A to B, and then it goes back and forth. I record all the time. and then it starts to sort of take shape. And then that can take maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And that's how I do it. I play a lot. But the way we do it is the way I did it, and the way I still do it is I use like 3 microphones. I use like the SM57, and then I use 2 room mics.
Oh wow!
So it's like a big kind of
it captures the ambience.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of sounds like a double tracking. But then like guys like Randy Rhoads, so it's like triple tracked solos, and he composed the solos and then played with different guitars too, and it's totally one. Especially Diary for Madman, which is amazing. I mean, because you don't hear it, but it's 3 guitars. Solo.
It's hard. It's hard to do it with like 3 different guitars and to make it sound like one.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know how I did it. Actually, I have no idea.
Well, I mean, none of us have the privilege to ask him anymore, but it's something we'll always appreciate, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
I mean, that guy was like, he composed the solos that I know. They have to be composed when you do like that.
Yeah, you can't just wing it and improvise and just track it that way, you know.
Impossible.
Yeah,
cannot be.
Yeah, but I guess it depends on, you know, the individual, because some people, they work better and they track better when they're prepared for the session, but some people they actually work better, like in your case, they work better under pressure, and you know that you're recording and then you just improvise and you know, you just write better that way.
Actually, it's the opposite of pressure, because I tend to be really relaxed when I record. That's really important for me. So I cannot be stressed, because then I can't do anything at all. So I have to sort of like really relax myself, and then I'm in sort of, they call it in the flow, you know, when you don't think about it, because if you think about it, then it's kind of predictable. But when you're in the zone, you never know what's going to happen, you know. So when I capture that moment, and you know, many times during the live concert, I don't know my own song sometimes. I don't remember it. So I know the part is coming. I know I'm going to fuck it up, and I will fuck it up. So I'm not in the flow. But if I'm in the flow, it just flows. I don't think about anything at all. Just play. And that is for me how music should be for me. That I don't think about it. I just play. You know, and then it comes from within the flow. Because if you think about it, it sort of comes only from the head.
The head.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think once we start overthinking, and then that's where we get distracted and we sort of lose focus on what we're actually playing. And then that's where we start to miss stuff, screw up stuff, and play the wrong notes or chords and things like that.
I don't think it's important to make wrong notes too. I mean, I remember always when I was in Japan, because I had an endorsement with ESP. I went to this ESP music school, and I was telling them, without really thinking about it, you have to make mistakes. In Japan, you don't say that.
Yeah, that's true.
In that culture, you don't say that. They were like, they didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
they were like
that's
completely.
true.
So what I meant is that through mistakes, you can find good things. You know, you learn from mistakes. And I didn't mean that you have to make mistakes like that, but just that you learn. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely right. So then I actually have to ask, like, you know, you say you're relaxed when you're recording, like after recording so many songs, does it still, like, you know, for say home recording people like me, every time we hit the record button, we know that we're recording, and then that's where we tend to screw up. You know, does it still affect you that way? Like, you know, you play super well while you're not recording, but then once you start recording, you screw up everything.
It never affected me. Actually.
Oh wow! How do you stay so calm?
Well, because you can always do it again. You know. I mean, the major thing is to learn that why are you scared? You know, why is there fear, and what does it tell? I mean, it tells you should not fuck up, and of course, then you will.
Yeah, exactly. And in most cases, we do.
Yeah, of course, because you're bound to do it. You're scared. I mean, you're not relaxed, and you know, you don't breathe, and you know, when you're scared, you know exactly what's happened. But fear is a really mostly unusable feeling, because there are very few things we really have to be scared of. you know. And that's where it becomes this cultural thing, you know, that at least in Japan, where I've been sometimes, I've seen that there's a lot to do with fear and shame and guilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how you've been brought up when you're a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you obey, you're good. If you don't, you're bad.
Yeah.
And then of course you implement that to everything in your life, and also of course the guitar playing. So when you hit the record button, you, in the back of your mind you say, well, I'm not supposed to fuck up.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
But I'm telling you, the more times you fuck up, the better it will be.
That's true.
Sure.
Provides an opportunity to learn and to improve as well.
Yeah, I've been doing these seminars, and I tell the students to make mistakes when they play. I want to hear mistakes. Play me a mistake. I want to hear it now. Play it for me a mistake. They can't. So then I show them how to play rubbish. You know, just rubbish, and they're like, "Why are you doing that?" Because I'm doing it because you should see what comes out of that. It's liberation. It's all reverse. You know, when you start understanding that there's nothing wrong when you make mistakes, you are liberated from that dogma.
That's very true. That's right. I think I should learn that, and I think that's a very good point that you brought up. Like, you know, you said you can always record it again if you make a mistake. So then that fear of not recording perfectly is actually very redundant, and it's kind of stupid in some sense. So then
it's stupid, understandable. It's stupid, understandable. But you know, think about this: who is in the room? It's only you.
Yeah. That's true.
And therefore, there's nobody else. So that has to be you who has this problem. So the fear is inside of you, and then when that is the case, you can work with it by being conscious about it. And when you're conscious about it, it starts to lose the grip.
Yeah, I think that's probably like a golden piece of advice that, you know, many guitarists, many recording artists, and also obviously your fans should hear, you know, and that would definitely be helpful for me as well. Someone
I think you should just relax, maybe try meditation, and just, you know, study yourself too, your emotions, you know, your personality, your character structure, a little bit psychology, you know, never hurts, and to get to know yourself. I'm doing this masterclass seminars about guitar playing, composing, and in there, I'm talking a lot about this structure of human being, how we are, you know, how we are. We are pretty rigid and not fluid, and we don't want to change things. Mm-hmm. And that is, of course, not good.
Yeah, definitely not a good thing. Well, I mean, lucky people who get to be at your masterclass, then they'll definitely learn a lot. Nice. Okay. Well, so actually, like so thank you so much for sharing, like, you know, the way you compose and the way how you stay relaxed as you track, because I think definitely many people would be curious to find out, like, you know, how you write songs so quickly. And, you know, obviously by recording so many songs, obviously you're able to stay calm as you record, you know, and that's something I think, you know, whatever you share will probably be very, very, you know, golden for whoever hears this podcast. Yeah. So thank you. On behalf of everyone who hears this in the future, I would like to thank you.
You're welcome.
And okay.
I would still like to say one thing, because this, there was one time when I was like, I started playing guitar when I was 7, you know, so I start from this point, and then I start doing things, and it's an evolutionary process, you know, and now I'm 55, so I've been doing this like 48 years. And of course, I'm not the same person, and you gotta evolve, and you are, you know, and it's always in stages too. You sometimes hit a ceiling, you know, and you're like, you can't go, where should I go? And you get frustrated and angry, and you have to, because that's the only way to get through that to the next, you know. And it's all, of course, love of the music, and that's what we are doing. I mean, we basically we are like messengers, and we are spreading out good things, and people love this. And I think ultimately that's my calling, that I think I was born to do this actually.
Oh, definitely, no doubt about that.
Yeah, when I really think about it.
No doubt about that. Well, thanks so much for sharing that. And so that brings us to the next section of, almost to the last section. But I actually have to ask you about the show you guys have planned in Circo Volador in Mexico City.
Yes.
How excited are you about that one? That must be something really big that's brewing, right? So
Yeah, very, very. Yes. I mean, that's like the idea came just because I actually proposed this to Stratovirus guys to get to do this with me, but they cannot because they are tied to their record company, plus they're making a new record. And then I started to think who's available, and it started from an idea, you know. And then I reached out to these guys, and it just happened to be that this is a band that I had before called Sinfonia. I don't know if you know this band, but
Yep, I know.
it was with it's Sinfonia without Andre Matos, God bless him, and it's with this Alessandro Conti, and that's
Yari.
gonna be Yari and Nico and Alex, and
yeah,
it's gonna be cool because we played it many times in Circo Volador, otherwise, and it's kind of the circle is complete kind of a thing almost. And we started from that venue 21 years ago, and now it's gonna be like a best of my whole career. So probably like 3 hours, 2.5.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. And the thing is that I started having this idea of the tour with these guys, and then also now everybody's contacting me. Everybody wants to tour, so it's going to be like entire Latin America, you know. After that, so the whole May basically.
Wow.
We do this Mexico 3 gigs. We announced third one tomorrow, and then we go Chile, Argentina, I think Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Brazil.
Wow.
Colombia, you know, those it's like a month. So
wow, that's crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, how do you even keep up? I'm tired just by listening to you listing the venues now.
Well, you know, it's kind of, I mean, it's a nice life, you know. It just, you know, the traveling, it just really bothers me sometimes. Because, you know, from Mexico to, for example, to Chile, it's like 12-hour flight. It's like flying to Europe.
Yeah.
But this is who I am, and at this point of my life, I'm very thankful for this. And I could be in some factory, you know, and to do stuff like that. And I'm a privileged guy, so I get to play where I want to go, and you know, I earn a living. So that's the best thing.
Yeah, exactly. Doing what you love.
Exactly. I think everybody should find something that they really love to do. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the more energy you put into that, excuse me, that's gonna grow. It's like a flower, you know. It's really like that.
Yeah, absolutely true. Well, so then are you guys going to practice for that gig there? Because it's gonna be like a live recording. So are there plans to like rehearse before that, things like that?
Yeah, of course. Maybe a couple of warm-up gigs and then some rehearsals. But I know the guys. They are fantastic musicians. So, and I know the songs. They know the songs. It's more like I have never played with the singer Alessandro before, so it's kind of getting together. But it's a very positive energy that surrounds this thing because I see it growing like a lot suddenly. In 2 days, almost the whole tour is booked. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's really a big thing. When I saw that, I was like, no way.
Yeah, because nobody expected that. But it's typically me. You know, I get an idea and then I go for that 100%. You know,
and that should be the way.
I don't know, man. I just woke up one day and okay, well, let's do it. And then, of course, you know, I'm planning other things too. I'm writing songs for my 4th solo record. And so the plan is to release this live record in July and then that solo record in October.
Oh, nice. So somewhere about next year this time. Yeah.
And the thing is that I don't like the state of where the music industry is in this moment. Where the creators of the content get the least piece of the cake, you know.
Yeah.
And I hate that. So I contacted some friends and I got together with this guy from Finland who lives in Dallas and almost like synchronistically get in touch with him. Never knew about him before. He was in Nokia, a Symbian team of developing music players and video players for 12 years. So now we are like planning to release our own player.
Oh wow!
So and I will release all my stuff through that. It's not going to be in Spotify. It's not going to be in Apple. There will be no record companies. It's only me.
Nice. That's very interesting, and I'm sure you'll keep everyone posted, on your Facebook and also your Instagram
this is like,
as well.
Sure, that's going to be like a Spotify of my own, basically. So,
nice.
And also because I want to reverse this. I want to reverse the economical situation. So we will, when it's ready, we will invite musicians and bands that can, publish their stuff through us, and we give them 80% of the money.
Yeah.
Now it's 5 from Spotify.
Yeah, I know. It's really quite ridiculous. Like, Spotify continues to slash the margins of the content creators, and it's just terrible.
Well,
and everyone thinks musicians are like, all musicians are making a lot of money, but that's really not the case.
No, it's not. No, it's not true. Yeah. I think that Hunting High Low has like 15 million streams, and I get like $200. So it cannot be right. Somebody's making money, but instead of complaining, I act. Okay.
Yes.
So now I have this plan, and I made this really drawing. It's somewhere here actually, and I sent it to this guy. I said, "Okay, let's do it," and that's how it started. And that's going to result to completely. I'm going to be totally independent from the whole thing, And I have my fans there, and they can come to that at a very cheap price. They can listen to the new stuff. Then they can download it into their computer or phones, but they cannot spread it as files. So streaming actually saved the downloading, because nobody downloads stuff anymore. It's just streaming.
Yeah.
Why the download?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope it happens for you though, and it's a very noble thing that you're doing there to fight, for musicians, because I think if musicians don't fight for musicians, no one else is, because everyone else is just gonna think of how they're gonna make money off musicians.
They just complain, but they don't do anything. Yeah. I mean, nobody has thought about this before. It's not difficult, really. I mean, it's an app,
That's true. Well, I really hope it succeeds then, and then musicians will really benefit from them, and I think the whole world will thank you for it. When it actually takes off.
I think it's a good thing for musicians and also the people who love music, because the way it's been now, it's like there is really this generation that thinks they don't have to pay for the music. Some really weird thing, and sometimes in my Facebook, when I meet these guys, when I see these guys, I'm like saying, okay, write it down, write it there. I want to hear it. I don't have to pay for the music. I want to hear it. Nobody does that, but they think about it. So and that will result, of course, that the budget gets smaller, the money gets smaller, good and intelligent music gets less.
Yeah.
So it's going to be only the big ones, and it's not very interesting for me.
That's very true. That's very true. Absolutely. Well, I hope your plan succeeds, and then all of us can, enjoy the fruits of what you've done.
We are working hard for that.
Well, thank you so much for doing that.
Welcome.
Okay. Well, so thanks for sharing everything that you've shared today. So we've come to the last part of our show, because obviously I don't want to take up too much of your time. So before we go, any advice you would like to give out for musicians or guitarists who aspire to play and write like yourself?
I think just that, you gotta, like I said, be persistent of your art, and you have to work hard. I mean, when I was 16, I played 8 hours every day for 10 years, every single day. And I cannot really recommend that, because that means you don't really go to school. And I skipped the school a lot, but then, I became a musician, and you got to practice and practice and practice, and you got to be serious about it. You got to learn about yourself. You got to listen to a lot of music, and you have to understand that there is no such a thing as good or bad music. They're just different opinions. I mean, it's very arrogant to say, what is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are these metal fans say, I know. I say, oh, tell me, because I don't know. No, of course I know what I like and what I think is badly done or poorly done and whatever it is, you know, but I can hear that, of course. But I wouldn't slag anyone for that, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta be polite, you gotta be kind, and you have to remember that whatever you put to the universe will return.
Yep.
Whatever it
Absolutely
is,
true.
it comes back to you. So it's better be good.
Absolutely true. Yeah. And I think if you've got nothing to say, got nothing nice to say, don't say it, you know, just keep it to yourself.
Don't say anything bad about anyone ever. It's a good advice.
Yeah, absolutely
difficult.
true.
Difficult.
Yeah, it is. It is. Sometimes the hardest thing is to not say anything.
I think every valuable thing here is difficult. You know?
Yeah.
It's like when I've seen many times when I have a like really nice goal, there are obstacles that I have to overcome.
Yep.
You know, and then at the end when I get there, I really can appreciate. And also the gratitude about what you have is really important. You know, that you feel this not as a fake level, but really feel it with your heart. The gratitude about being alive, the gratitude about infinite possibilities here, the gratitude to be free. You know, you wake up in the morning and you think about your life. And I have all these things and I'm so grateful. And that doesn't have to implement a God element or any religion at all, just general gratefulness.
Yeah.
You know.
Even that, I think just by having that sort of sense of appreciation, you attract a lot of positive energy as well, because you're not complaining, and then therefore good things just happen for you. And I honestly
know for a fact
as well.
I know for a fact that it works, and even if you have negative thoughts like everyone has, you can put them out with positive thoughts consciously. You just think about positive things all day, send it out, and it comes back multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, that's again golden advice. Well, I mean, from start till end of the of this chat, you've been pretty much giving advice after advice. So I'm sure, you know, this would be a very, very beneficial episode for those who chose to listen. And I cannot thank you enough, and I cannot express enough how honored I am to have you on the show and to talk to you, being such a long time fan of your work. And you're literally one of the reasons why I started playing guitar. So I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart, Timo, for being here today. And I wish you nothing but success for all your future endeavors. And I certainly look forward to everything you have, you know, for us, your fans, in the future as well.
Thank you. Same for you, my friend. All the best.
Thank you so much. Goodbye. We'll keep in touch.
Goodbye. Yes.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.